Okay, so Julie, it's really nice to welcome you onto the show. We are very excited to be doing the sort of the diary of an age group with you. Congratulations on winning yourself some coaching going up to Ironman UK. And it's great to have you on the little chat here. So we're going to record this for video, record it for the podcast as well. We'll put it out on both channels so people get to hear your story of headed through to Ironman UK. So first up, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your family life, your work-life balance, all of that stuff before we go on to talking about Ironman itself.
Okay, so I am a mum of three. I have three young kids, aged 7, 4, and 3, so still very young. And I work from home. I make podcasts, mostly about science. So I do a kids podcast, a couple of grown-up podcasts, and I can do that from home. I work around the kids. So the youngest is at nursery, the 2 oldest are at school. So I work around pickups, drop-offs, bedtimes, early morning starts. I've got to fit it in where I can.
It's amazing, isn't it, how much time you think you should have between the drop off at nursery and school and the home time, but it doesn't really.
It totally flies.
So in and around balancing 3 kids and basically working as your own boss, you've got to train for an Ironman as well, and you've picked a doozy with picking Ironman UK. So Tell us what it was that attracted you to enter Ironman UK.
Well, so I never thought I would do an Ironman. It was always one of those things I'd heard of, and I thought, oh my God, these people are nuts. What are they doing? Why would they do that? And I don't know what's happened. So I think it started when I got into triathlon. So about 5 months after my eldest was born, I did my first triathlon, which is an achievement in itself. I did it with my sister, and we went together and did Blenheim Palace, and I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun. I had an absolute blast. And then I had a couple more kids, so I didn't do any more for a little while. So I then got back into triathlon about 2 years ago. I did Blenheim Palace again, reminded myself how much I loved it. And I thought, oh, okay. So the year after I did a couple more. And I was sitting on a train with a friend of mine from school. And we were just coming home from a girls' weekend. And we were like, oh, what should we do for a challenge for 2021? Should we do something? Because she was a swimmer with me. When we were younger, we swam together at school. And she'd just done the channel. She just swum the channel as part of a relay. Wow. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. So she was like, let's do something together this year. So 2021, we picked to do a half distance Ironman. It was quite scary to hit the go button on that, but we did it, and we worked hard for it. We trained together, and we actually joined a group of women called the 10 Iron Women, who are aiming to get a gender balance within the Ironman distance events. And we joined them for the Cotswolds Classic in July last year. And it was the most amazing thing I've ever done. It was a beautiful, glorious British summer day. I know those words aren't often said in the same sentence, but it was just fantastic. Blue skies, clear waters. And I just had the most amazing time. And even though the run towards the end, it did hurt a bit. I said to myself, I did it. I ran down the finish line going, oh my God, I made it to the end. I was so proud of myself because I'd never done anything like it. And then the next day, my friend who I did it with, she was like, shall we do an Ironman? And I was like, you're mad. No way. We're not going to do it. And she's like, yeah, come on, let's do it. Let's sign up. So I was like, fine. Okay. And the 10 Iron Women group were aiming for Barcelona 2023, which is the event that they're going to have they're aiming for the 50-50 gender split. But Barcelona is a bit tricky for me to get to, and it's a little bit out of my budget. These events aren't the cheapest to attend. But also for me, what was really important, and I learned this during my training for the half distance, is that this is such a the time, I don't call it a sacrifice because I love what I do and I love the training and I get a lot out of it, but it is hard for my family. 3 young kids, and I'm either up at the crack of dawn doing the training before they get up, or I'm doing it at bedtime or whatever. I'm not as present. I might be totally exhausted and can't play with them or whatever. It's hard for them. It's hard for my husband as well. So for me, this is like a team effort. So I wanted to do an event that the team could be there for. And we live in the UK. So Ironman UK made the most sense. Then if they want to and they can come up and support me and be there for me and help me cross that finish line if I make it. So that's why I chose Ironman UK, because I without them I wouldn't be doing this, and I want them to be there to see me finish it.
And I think it's such a big part of these events, isn't it? Having your family present, having your kids there to cheer you on. Do your kids, do they have like a concept of how big a thing this is, or do they have any concept that you're doing this yet? I'm sure you've mentioned it, but has it really sunk into them? Yeah,
we've talked about it a lot, because they know I go training to the pool twice a week, and they see me on the spin bike, because the spin bike's in the living room. So they see me on that for many hours a week, and I go out for runs, and we've talked about it because it's part of their life as well. So, I don't know if the distance concept is anything to them yet. Maybe my eldest, when we were talking about, like, you do a park run and that's 2 kilometers. I'm going to be doing a 40-something kilometer run after I've done a 180 kilometer bike ride. And Nova's like, what?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
So, it's a hard thing for kids to get their head around. It's also a really hard thing. One of my classic lines when I'm doing education around this for people is to say, you've got to imagine that you're going to go and run the London Marathon, which is, for most people, it's the biggest event they'll ever do in their life. But you're going to ride your bike there to the start line from Birmingham that morning. And people look at you, or from Bristol, it's all the way across the country.
Yeah.
And before that, you're going to swim from Wales across the Bristol Channel to Bristol to get to your bike. So it kind of puts in perspective. It's not just like a double or triple. It's squared or cubed the amount of effort that goes into it. So are your kids excited about seeing you do something like this?
Yes, I think they are. I think they are looking forward to it. I mean, it's still a long way away, and the concept of time of 6 months away is not that easy for them to grasp yet either, but they are looking forward to it. And I think because we talk about it a lot as well, that it's part of their upbringing this year. And my husband's an endurance cyclist as well, so he's off doing big bike rides, and he did one just this weekend gone. So we were watching, like, following his little blue dot on the screen, and I was like, oh, he's done like 6 hours now on the bike, and they're just sitting there going, 6 hours, oh my gosh. So yeah, no, I think they are excited about it, and they want to come up and see me finish it. They're excited because they were at the finish line for the Cotswold Classic event, and awesome. They thought that was really exciting. Yeah, so it's good.
So of all the 3 sports you've got to do, obviously you swam as a kid. I know you've run a marathon, you've done a half Ironman. Which of the 3 disciplines is the one that is, I'm not going to say it's making you most nervous, but what are you least sure about at this point?
The run I'm the least sure about. Yeah, it is the run. I'm not a natural runner. I do my best and I'll give it a good crack, but I think it's the concept of running a marathon at the end of all of the other bits, because I ran in my first marathon in November last year, and that was hard. That was really hard, and it was flat as a pancake. And I know that Ironman UK Run is not flat as a pancake, so I'm it's going to be an honest course, and it's going to make an honest woman out of me, I'm sure. I'm terrified.
And going forward into the training at this point, I want to paint a picture for people who are listening. What are your concerns going into the training? What are your worries? What are the things that make you slightly, that combination of anxious and excited looking forward over the next 6 months?
So I work really well with the training program. I like to have the routine, and the kids function well on routine as well. So that, the school days are like great because they go in at a certain time and they finish at a certain time, and they've got their activities, they know what's happening. And I like that too. That adds a bit of stability into the time around it for me. With regards to anxiety about training, I think I'm a bit nervous about the long rides, purely because I've never done them before. I've done a long run now, so I know what that's going to feel like. I've never cycled for more than, I want to say, 3 hours. So, I know that coming towards sort of Q2 and Q3, I'm going to be out on the bike for 5-6 hours. And that scares me a little bit, just because it's new for me. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to do it and I'm not going to love it. It's just something that I've got to build myself up to, which I guess is what the training plan is for.
Absolutely. Awesome. Hey, well, listen, I think this has been a great introduction to everybody for you preparing for Ironman UK. What have you got coming up this month in terms of training that you're really looking to get forward to getting your teeth into?
So this upcoming month, I've just finished test week. So, throw myself into a new training program with a bunch of tests. Thanks, Rob. No, that was really good. So now I know where I stand, which means I know what I can build on. And I know that this is sort of an FTP building session, or like a building period. So I'm going to be working on building my leg strength on the bike, keeping everything quite easy on the runs, nothing too crazy with the running. And that's going to be really good. I'm kind of interested to see how my bike fitness and bike strength develops over this period, because I've not done that before. I've not looked at that as a specific thing. Last year I was training for this half distance event, and I was just cycling. It was all sort of zone 2, easy heart rate, just go the distance sort of thing. Whereas this time we're actually building in some strength work, which is new for me.
Yeah, so you've got a few tasty intervals to get your teeth into over the first block, haven't you?
I had a sneaky peek and a bit. It should be fun.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're approaching it with that point of view. It sounds like you're really enthusiastic about it. You're really excited about it, and it's something completely different for you. So it sounds like you're the kind of personality that's really going to thrive with a kind of, tell me what to do and I'll do it and I'll report back and then we'll see what the results are.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Because I've never had any coaching for this kind of event before, it's all a bit of an experiment. So, I'm the test subject, you're the expert scientist. So hopefully, we could learn a bit about it and learn a bit about me. And I'm interested to see what my body's capable of.
Great stuff. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining us for episode 1, and we'll look forward to catching up with you in another month.
Okay, thank you. See you then.